Hello and welcome to Then What Happened. Life is full of things that we cannot explain. And then there are things that we scientifically and through much thought, philosophical thinking, we can determine some reasons for them. Albert Einstein said there are two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is though everything is a miracle. And I believe Mr. Einstein was onto something there because he admitted that the more he delved into science, the more miraculous he felt that life was, every part of life, every part of creation. It's interesting that some people go through life thinking of it as very mundane because there's nothing really we do that is not very miraculous. In modern times, of course, with technology is so far advanced, and I have a lot of years behind me already, so there's a lot about technology that I don't understand. But some very basic things about modern times are electricity, running water, internet, a dishwasher, a microwave, appliances that my parents did not have, and their parents definitely did not have. In fact, that generation grew up with no electricity, no running water. Everything was very difficult. And so things began to seem like a miracle. My paternal grandfather lived from 1898 to 1990. And in the course of that time, he saw changes that were nothing short of miraculous. And so every day when we look at life, looking at it from that point of view, children are a miraculous creation. How that they come into the world and they survive, the majority of them survive to be adults, and how that life goes through the process for them. And they learn and they're educated. To watch a small child grow up, to watch them from infancy become the people they're becoming, even in those first 4 or 5 years of life when they're learning to speak, they're learning to read and write, they're learning to feed themselves and do things for themselves. They're learning some basic things about what they love and what they enjoy and what their hobbies are. It's kind of ingrained in them to become the people they really are, and that in itself is a miraculous thing. I'm not a scientist. I don't know a lot about the genetics and the things that go into making us human that we are. But I know, and I've been around enough to know, in enough places in the world to expect miraculous things to happen. Connections with people, conversations that were there at that moment. And to look at life from that point of view can encourage you and strengthen you and help you to move forward instead of getting left in the doldrums of just going through the mundane, just going through the life. It doesn't matter what your job is. I don't know what your job is. I don't know what you do. You don't know what I really do. But we get up and we go to our job, or we go to the task that we have been called upon to do. We involve ourselves, and if we look at it from a point of view, oh, this is just what I have to do, we get bogged down in that. But if we look at it from, this is nothing short of a miracle. This thing that I do, that daily I'm able to eat and drink and biologically function, is a major miracle. But that all of these things seem to work. Now, I've lived in a country where the electricity would go off quite often, where it was not very reliable, and some of you may be in areas like that. But just the fact that it works more often than not is a miracle. And I think Albert Einstein was right in the way you look at it. If you look at it like everything is not a miracle, that it's just happening, or that it was just somehow planned for us and meant to be, that is very mundane, very bogs your motivation down into the humdrum part of life. But if you look at it as though this conversation with this person I happen to meet is a miracle, this relationship I have, this connection, the things that I do with my brain in a day's time, the way you may help others, the way you may serve in the job you have, those things can be miraculous to you. Have you ever been encouraged by one thing somebody said? Maybe you heard just a small phrase, a small quote, and it encouraged you and you thought, yes, I can do this. Isn't that a miracle? Isn't that an amazing thing? That we do that in nature, and I've talked about nature a lot. Nature intrigues me. We as creations intrigue me, how we are, but the world, the natural world, is miraculous. The chromosomes, the atoms that go together to create what is nature in plants and animals. And as you observe nature, I've spent quite a bit of my life hiking, going into places and seeing the natural world alive and moving. I've been blessed to be able to be in some areas that were very remote. And the only thing you really had to observe was nature. The miracle of that should encourage you and help you to see that life can be so much a joy for you because it is a day-to-day miracle. A famous author for inspirational writings, Roy Bennett, made the statement, "Don't be pushed around by the fears in your mind. Be led by the dreams in your heart." Fear can overwhelm you. Fear can push you down. And there are things in this world to be afraid of. There are issues. There are wars. There are illnesses. There are problems and pains. But even in the face of all of that, there are the dreams. There are the joys, the pleasures, and the miracles. Focus on those things. In whatever you have been called to do, and whatever your hands are busy doing, whatever you have your brain occupied with, find the miracle and go forward. And let that motivate, encourage, and sustain you. Thank you for watching us here on Then What Happens. Comment, like, subscribe. I'll see you next time. Have a great day.